Kim Jane, an ordinary guy, suddenly transmigrated into a superhero comic called Stardust. In this world, Jane decided to become the egoistic villain, Egoistic, to boost Stardust's abilities and actively prevent all the tragic events that happened to her in the original story. However, after all that, the #1 heroine who was prejudiced against him actually developed feelings and even became obsessed with the villain Egoistic. It all started one day. Jane laid out a plan called villain hunting. Because of his knowledge of the story, he knew they would become stronger later on. So Jane would eliminate them before they could cause chaos in the city or for Stardust. Knowing and supporting this plan was Heroine, a girl with super intellect. She communicated with him through an earpiece. The target is currently in sight. He's sitting motionless on the sofa. The perfect moment has arrived. Jane loads his gun, ready to execute the plan. His first ability is teleportation. In the blink of an eye, the hot weapon is pointed straight at the forehead of Rhino, an A-rank villain. And his second ability is psychokinesis. Like a demon king, Jane echoes a greeting from hell. Before Rhino even has a second to react, he ruthlessly sends Rhino to the afterlife. After eliminating him, Jane picks up the stack of papers the guy had been fondling. As expected, he was planning a terrorist attack. In the original story, this guy named Rhino would later become an S-rank villain, wearing a rhino mask and murdering hundreds of people. At the same time, Heroine reminds him that the police and heroes have arrived. Before leaving, Jane swipes a bloody message on the door frame. Soon enough, the police and heroes arrive. They deduce that the culprit in this case and the previous one are the same person. And the message Jane left behind is, to Miss Stardust. This successfully pisses her off. The press starts reporting on it. In the comments section, there are actually many people supporting Jane's actions. They even complain about how the heroes do their jobs. Reading these comments in his room, Jane feels incredibly awkward. Look at him scratching his head in frustration this whole time. Heroine piques him because it's too noisy. The flames of determination ignite within Jane. He can't just let this be. Because if this continues, only his image will be elevated. What will happen to Stardust? Public opinion will definitely turn against her. Because of this, Jane is determined to become an absolute, irredeemable scumbag. From this moment on, the villain Egoistic officially makes his debut. He packs a time bomb into his backpack. Somewhere in the city, everyone is staring intently at their phone screens, waiting to see a beautiful sight. Just as it's about to begin, Jane, in his villain persona Egoistic, hacks into the screens and says hello. Every electronic device in the city is covered by his live video broadcast. Jane introduces himself by revealing that he's the one who just eliminated Rhino and Enzo Diak, 2 A-rank villains. He arrogantly points one hand toward the tower at 127 and the other toward the observation deck of Building 61. The people inside that building are also watching it. Jane directly reveals that he has planted bombs in those 2 buildings. All the citizens immediately share the same terrified expression. Some panic and look for a way to escape. Others are so shocked they freeze. In front of hundreds of cameras, Jane declares a challenge to the heroes. None other than the person he wants to mention, Stardust. Not making him wait long, Stardust arrives as fast as the wind. Jane double-checks everything from his long cloak to his mask. One thing is for sure, his hands won't stop shaking. Because this is the first time he's meeting his favorite character in person. Stardust lands with both speed and power. As soon as he sees her, Jane can't help but let out gasps of awe. You can't blame him, because Stardust is as beautiful as a goddess. Before that aura, Jane freezes for a few seconds. Memories rush back to the moment he was first brought to this world. Jane, with a bruised and battered body, looked at the chaotic scene around him. He really wanted to return to his old world. But when he reached a certain place, the light from a screen illuminated Jane's face. He recognized Stardust, the heroine he had read about in the comic. Right at that moment, Jane cast aside the thought of going back. If he became a hero, he could be by her side. But as someone who had read the original story to death, he knew that even if he became a hero, he couldn't protect her. Therefore, to protect Stardust, Jane would become a villain exclusively for her. Back to when our male lead Kim Jane was just 15 years old. The fierce, belly-aching laughter of the guy tied upside down on the TV wouldn't stop. Ha ha, ha ha. His face still looked incredibly thrilled, laughing maniacally. Ha ha, ha ha. Back then, he really didn't understand. Is Jackie really a madman? Even for a villain, this concept is a bit too much. Now that he understands the mindset of a villain, he treats himself to a massive laughing fit. Ha ha ha, ha ha. Despite the hero in front of him glaring at him with angry eyes, ready to beat him to a pulp at any moment. The world seems to stand still, even the restless crowd below. It seems only a hero and a villain remain on the roof of the building. Going back a few minutes before the two officially met, Kim Jane pointed at Stardust with a smug look. I know what you're thinking right now. Even my subordinate who's controlling the broadcast has a detonator switch, so don't even think about subduing me with force. The hero's footsteps faltered slightly at those words. He spread his arms wide with a swarm of drones hovering behind him. This stage I created is exclusively for Stardust. So what do you think? The response was her scowling face. You crazy bastard, release the innocent people right now. We can just exchange a few blows and you can arrest me, right? Kim Jane kept a relaxed smile on his lips. He leaned in, raised his hand, and looked into the camera. Yes, I should release them. Those are the words of the hero of justice, Stardust. Everyone, focus on me. Now, I will hack and open elevator A at the observation decks. He snapped his fingers. Click. A sound echoed from the elevators in both buildings. Stardust's brows furrowed slightly. She understood the nature of these villains too well. It couldn't end this easily. The people inside the buildings saw the elevators working again and rushed over. Really? Hurry. Hurry up. A voice rang out, stopping them. Wait. This was still part of Kim Jane's plan. If he let them go right away, it wouldn't be fun anymore. The down button is lit up, he excitedly told them. If you just press it, the bomb at the other observation deck will explode. Simple, right? His tone hummed. Let's see. There are 30 minutes left until the bombs go off. Then he became extremely thrilled. Before that, hurry up and press it to go down. Kim Jane turned into a demon, tempting the weak-minded crowd. Hurry up. They're complete strangers anyway, right? The large screen showed the chaotic scene inside the building. The loud cries of children mixed with arguing voices. Gritting her teeth, she cursed, "You bastard." Kim Jane acted as if he didn't care about her mood. Today, right here, I will show everyone the absolute depths of human selfishness. This is Egostic's game. The people inside the building were in a frenzy. If the other side presses it first, we'll die a horrible death. We have to live too, right? When the time runs out, it'll explode anyway. He said there were 30 minutes left. No. You mean you want to kill the people over there with just the push of a button? They were all anxious and doubtful. Will the other side press it? We don't have time to think about this. The bomb will go off in a few dozen minutes. What do we do? Are they going to press the button? The current situation was pure chaos. Some people couldn't even stand still. Damn it. What are the heroes doing right now? Stardust couldn't act rashly. Even if she rushed in and took him down in the blink of an eye, if there really was a detonator elsewhere, it would be useless. Damn it. If this continues, the hostages will. Her eyes were as cold as ice, her voice drawing nearer. Is it fun playing with people's lives like this? Facing her, Kim Jane still casually narrowed his eyes and smiled. Haha, that's not the fun part. One of the few A-rank heroes in Korea, someone who believes in justice and her own convictions, never compromising with evil. I actually respect you quite a bit. Those words made her blush with anger. What nonsense are you spouting? He gleefully rubbed his nose with pride. I just wanted to praise you while the whole country is watching you on TV. Kim Jane's voice rang out again, drawing attention. Seeing you in a helpless situation, unable to do anything. His face looked manic as he touched the bomb button. It's thrilling. His body faintly began to disappear. I'll give you a chance to join the game too. Now, I'll connect you with the people who are desperately waiting for a hero. Stardust looked at him warily, confused. What? Kim Jane continued his act. If you successfully persuade them, and no one presses the button in 30 minutes. He crossed his legs and gave a wicked smile. The bombs won't explode. Stardust obviously didn't believe him. You expect me to believe a bastard like you? Not only was he unafraid, but he also provoked her. It's better than letting them helplessly look to the heavens, right? She helplessly clenched her fists at her sides. Kim Jane didn't need her opinion. He waved his hand to signal. All right then. A loud shout rang out. Ready. All the cameras swarmed around her. 3, 2, 1. After the countdown ended, a dramatic scene began. The hero's face appeared on the giant LED screens on the buildings. The citizens immediately recognized her. Stardust. It's Stardust. She took a deep breath under the invisible pressure. She looked into the camera as if looking straight into their eyes. Hello, everyone. I am the A-rank hero, Stardust. Every single person has their own beliefs in their heart. His handsome face showed a hint of emotion. That's right. This is exactly what I wanted. This half-real, half-fake world is just like a dream. I will be carved into the public's eyes as a terrorist villain. His dream was coming true. And she will shine. This is the stage meant for her. Her radiant figure. So that later, everyone can be proud of the choice they make today. Let's show this villain. Her voice was like a warmth spreading into everyone's hearts, that we are very strong. Their eyes gradually became resolute. Our beliefs will not waver. We will never bow down to evil. Thank you, everyone. Kim Jane gave a subtle, mysterious smile. The countdown on the screen was down to 5. The people trapped in the building hugged each other tightly and prayed. Stardust's face was filled with anxiety as she looked at the screen. The moment the number reached 0, everyone closed their eyes and braced for impact. Everyone was in a state of tense anxiety, not knowing if the punishment would fall or if the villain was telling the truth. That was also the moment Kim Jane took the stage. Right now, all the cameras dropped as his unbelievable scream rang out. Impossible. Selfish humans like you. The camera caught his confused and pained expression. Wouldn't just rush out to survive. Impossible. No way. Surely at least one person must have pressed the button. There has to be at least one selfish bastard who pressed it. Kim Jane clutched his head, muttering and overacting. Humans can't be this kind. Why? At this moment, Stardust spoke up. Egos tick. Humans aren't as selfish as you think. Her image appeared, radiating a brilliant aura. No one is completely selfless, but I believe in the goodness of humanity. Kim Jane suddenly looked up. It's because of you. You made them unite. He suddenly changed his expression, chuckling. How interesting. Before Stardust could charge at him, he bowed politely. Until the next game. Kim Jane took one last look at her. Stardust's resilient blue eyes made him marvel. Her eyes are full of justice. Finally, he disappeared with a firm statement. I will win. All the citizens burst into tears of joy. They cried out loud, hugging each other to celebrate the hero's victory. Everyone chanted one person's name in unison. Stardust. Stardust. Even so, the hero stood silently in the empty space. Kim Jane had quickly teleported to another location. As soon as his feet touched the ground, he collapsed powerlessly. He groaned and complained, "Oh my God, I'm dying." This was the consequence of teleporting. The deadly side effect of his teleportation ability, physical damage proportional to the distance teleported. His body felt so heavy he couldn't even drag himself. I'll probably be bedridden for days. A girl's voice rang out. I told you to stop wearing that hat. The white-haired girl looked at him with disdain. It's so ugly. Kim Jane weakly pleaded, Soon. I'm really dying here. Get me a glass of water. The girl ruthlessly brushed it off and walked away. Get it yourself. Leaving him frozen in place. The giant LED screen broadcasted breaking news. Terrorist attack at the building. 0 casualties. Hovering in midair. She gritted her teeth with deep hatred. Playing with people's hearts? Next time, I will definitely catch you. She would remember this guy forever until she caught him and beat him to a pulp. Egos tick. Early one morning at the Korean Hero Association. The association for superpowered individuals in Korea. On the large screen were countless tabloids posted online. These are the recent news headlines. The broadcast hijacker watched by the whole country. Who is the one who specifically called out the hero Stardust? Let's review his actions. Egos tick. Who is this A-rank villain? Hot topic. No casualties from the actual terrorism spreading across the peninsula. Broadcast hijacked overseas. Is Korean broadcasting security really okay like this? The person leading the meeting moved to the next page. Next is the analysis profile on Egostic. Egostic's villain information, along with some details about Kim Jane's villain persona. Name, Egostic. Gender, male. Mask, cognitive impairment function. Estimated residence, Seoul. A balding, pot-bellied middle-aged man spoke up. Well then, let's begin the briefing. This is Park Juno, chairman of the Korean Hero Association. Images of closed-room murder scenes appeared. He looked sick of them. All right, we've seen this part many times. Move on. The presenter continued. I will explain the details of yesterday's incident. First of all, it seems the culprit used teleportation to plant bombs on the exterior of the building beforehand. After dismantling them, it was confirmed that they were high-yield homemade bombs with enough destructive power to blow away the entire observation deck. Confirmed as high-efficiency homemade bombs. The conclusion is, it seems he manufactured them himself. Park Juno rubbed his shiny bald head in distress. Still no clues about the broadcast hijacking? The secretary replied awkwardly, yes. How he bypassed modern security systems to broadcast remains a mystery. They still had some specific analysis. However, since no one with abilities related to broadcasting waves has ever appeared before, we think it's highly likely he has an extremely tech-savvy accomplice behind the scenes. Their temporary speculation only went this far. An accomplice? The chances of that person being the bomb maker are very high. The secretary looked serious. There is one more thing I'd like to add. It seems he is very obsessed with Stardust. Everyone's gaze immediately shifted to the blonde girl. Through scattered clues, he can be certain that he left a message targeting her at the murder scene. To Stardust. And in this incident, it was also confirmed that he mentioned her directly, through the villain's own words. The A-rank hero in charge of Seoul, Stardust. Hearing this, Park Juno directly asked the person involved, how did it feel meeting that guy face to face? He called her out by name. She stood up slightly and gave her assessment. He's like a psychopath who enjoys playing with people's hearts. Furthermore, he has the ability to organize large-scale terrorist attacks. He is a dangerous villain in the truest sense. 2 days after the terrorist attack, in Jane's room, he lay bedridden, groaning. Oh God, I'm dying. He had to force himself to sit up and grope his way to the kitchen to find something to eat. Just as he chugged a bottle of orange juice, a sudden voice rang out. Are you doing that again? Kim Jane startled, spat out the water, and frantically explained, it's not like that, Seon. I wasn't doing that. Now to introduce this girl. This is Han Seon, a person with super intellect. At first, he wasn't used to her constantly calling him Appa according to the original story. According to the original story, she would grow up to become an S-rank villain, a genius hacker. But that was in the original story. Right now, he had managed to keep this girl by his side. The girl was throwing an angry fit. This is my house. Don't act like it's yours. Because in reality, the place they were staying was Han Seon's secret base. He chuckled and gently reminded her, haha, well, I'm the one paying for living expenses and everything else. Han Seon immediately cut him off. Please. Anyway, you should shut up and drink. Not yet. Kim Jane smiled softly at her cute threat. He gently patted her head. All right, got it. The heartwarming moment didn't last long before the girl shyly dragged him and the water bottle away. Something else happened. Hurry up. The door to the modern electronics room opened and closed. Han Seon sat in front of the advanced control screens. Remember that girl named Lee Soo-bin I mentioned before? She's a candidate to be our accomplice. Kim Jane didn't need to think much. The girl active on the deep web? I think she's a fan of yours. The girl typed a few commands and pointed at the screen. Look, she's right here. The news anchor's voice rang out. Copycats of Egoistic are causing a hostage terrorism situation in the middle of central Incheon. The perpetrators have planted bombs inside the building. He stepped closer to the screen in shock. What the hell? These maniacs. Is that girl being held hostage here? So what? Han Seon pointed at the trembling person holding a gun. No, it's that girl wearing the mask. The anchor reported the situation. The egoistic copycats have declared no negotiations. They only desire terrorism and death. Police confirm that as of now, at least 3 people have died due to the attack, and there are still about 300 hostages trapped inside the building. His voice cracked. Seon, what is our rule? The girl clearly remembered her older brother's instructions. Absolutely never murder civilians. His eyes flashed with danger. We have to clean up those guys. Help me out, Seon. Han Seon nodded firmly. You figure out what to do with the other guy. And as for that girl, observe the scene and make a judgment. At the scene of the copycat terrorist attack, Stardust stood before the blazing building. She bit her lip, standing silently for a long time. Then she spoke into her comms. Headquarters, requesting permission to infiltrate. but the other side denied it. Command team. After the police complete the final negotiations, infiltration will be permitted with a kill order if necessary. This incident made her hate him even more. It's all because of that bastard egoistic. Past terrorist attacks were mostly the exclusive domain of superpowered villains. His theatrical stunt, more or less, caused a massive shockwave in the villain underworld. But this time, he didn't focus on superpowers. Instead, he used explosives and kidnapping as the spearhead to pressure the heroes. It was clear that the image of him cornering us inspired other ordinary people. She gritted her teeth in frustration. The very next day, copycat crimes occurred. Suddenly, an announcement came through the comms. Egoistic has appeared at the scene. He's live-streaming the inside on YouTube. Check it immediately. She was stunned. Egoistic. She immediately opened her phone. Indeed, the new villain who mocked others' gimmicks had appeared again. Viewers flooded in rapidly. What is this? Is the villain Egoistic live-streaming the terrorist attack? The #1 villain in this world. The chat is full of crazy people. This is a real crime scene. Yeah, as long as it's not me. Release Kim Sun-woo. Release Kim Sun-woo. Where are the censors? Hijacking the broadcast again. The footage showed Egoistic inside the building, confronting a group dressed exactly like him. They pointed their guns and yelled, "Who's there?" They quickly recognized him. They immediately rejoiced. Because their hero, Egoistic, had descended right here. Egoistic. Egoistic. Little did they know what they were actually waiting for. The day has come. It's really here. Woohoo. He's going to slaughter these ignorant fools himself. Just watch. Kim Jane's face scowled, not pleased at all with this group. Oh God, I used long-distance teleportation again, so my whole body is aching. It's all because of these bastards. Damn it. The terrorists looked confused. Egoistic. Suddenly, a sky-shattering laugh rang out. Ha ha. This is interesting. Ha ha. They didn't understand anything, but forced themselves to laugh along. Ha ha. At this moment, Han Seon reported. 3 o'clock position. The guy standing next to the pillar holding the detonator. He glanced over at the guy. Confirmed. And immediately, he met his end. His body was mercilessly hollowed out into the shape of a donut. The copycat terrorists then screamed in panic. No, this guy isn't Egoistic. He must be an undercover cop. They quickly aimed their guns at him. But before they could pull the triggers, the guns flew out of their hands. The very next scene was the gun barrels pointing straight at each of their faces. Kim Jane sneered, raising his hand to use his ability. I have never had such stupid lackeys like you. Countless gunshots rang out. The building smoked heavily. The agonizing screams of the guys getting shot were broadcasted live. The comments showed confusion, while those who still had reason spoke up. Whoa, aren't they on the same side? Why is he taking them all out? Just killing them all like that? Satisfying to watch. Who is Egoistic to be so ruthless? Those crazy bastards. People are dying. What are the heroes doing? The villain stepped up instead. Haha. What will happen to the people there? Crying face. Is he a psychopath who wants to kill everyone? Even just looking at the back of Egoistic's head, he looks handsome. There are a lot of crazy people here. This is a real situation, guys. At this moment, her superiors finally gave her permission. Permission to enter granted. Top priority is ensuring the safety of the hostages from the terrorists and Egoistic. She didn't hesitate for a second and charged in. Confirmed. There was only one person left who hadn't been shot, which was exactly the person he needed to find. Han Seon's voice rang out. Appa, save her. From what I can confirm, she was dragged out and forced by those maniacs. She didn't participate in the terrorism. She cowered in a corner, hugging her head and crying. Help me. Sob. Kim Jane's hand suddenly reached out, making her flinch and hiccup. He directly ripped her mask off. An inquiring voice rang out. Did you do anything wrong? Yes or no? Lee Subin choked back her tears. Okay, I admit my fault. Wah. The more she cried, the louder she got. Okay, I admit my fault. Wah. Kim Jane didn't have that kind of patience. If you keep crying like that, you're going to eat a bullet. Lee Subin immediately fell silent, covering her mouth tightly. He walked over to the citizens being held hostage. Surprisingly, he bowed solemnly. I apologize. Even though I didn't cause this, I feel a great responsibility because this copycat behavior stemmed from my case. This action made the comments explode. Wait, is this how a villain acts? Hold on, what exactly is going on here? He sincerely added, "To the hostages and anyone affected because of me, I will send compensation money to your accounts. Please check them. I deeply apologize for the 3 victims who lost their lives. I will pay the highest possible compensation." However, Kim Jane still hesitated internally because of the downside of this. Oh man, transferring from fake accounts is too easy to trace. I don't know. Seon will handle it, right? Han Seon sighed and urged him. Appa, just bring her back. Hearing that meant the girl had agreed to do it. Okay. Kim Jane immediately hoisted Lee Soo-bin onto his shoulder. His body instantly felt like it was shattering. Arg, the effects of teleportation are making my body tremble. Suddenly, a tremor hit the entire floor. Kim Jane immediately realized the only person who could do that was Stardust. She was charging in before she could accurately assess the situation here. A few more days passed after the scandal. At Jian University. At a cafe one afternoon, KP News reported, "Villain takes responsibility and compensates with money." The public falls into chaos. The villain Egoistic bows his head at the scene of the terrorist attack. Verifying the hostages' accounts is truly not an easy task. What kind of person is he? KP in-depth investigation. A blonde girl sat alone at a table, her eyes fixed on her phone screen. Her fingers scrolled through the comments. Everyone was talking about it. Who is Egoistic anyway? Egoistic sounds legendary. Does Egoistic only save women? When she wasn't a hero, she was an ordinary person named Shin Haju, currently a college student. For some reason, she sighed tiredly, remembering when she aggressively and recklessly charged into the building. That attack caused a tremor throughout the entire building. As soon as she burst in, she caught Egoistic's surprised face. She immediately locked onto her target. Egoistic, you bastard, I'll definitely catch you this time. She abruptly changed direction and charged at him. Fortunately, Kim Jane's legs were jelly at that moment, and he managed to dodge in time. Stardust was really too hasty, so she couldn't react in time. Oh my god. And just like that, she let the villain she needed to catch slip away. Thinking back on it made her even more bitter. Shin Haju sighed in frustration. Right at that moment, another girl approached and pulled out a chair. She asked gently and caringly, Haju, what's wrong? Is the assignment too hard? Kim Chae-hyun, Haju's senior. She snapped out of it and looked up. Oh, it's nothing, Yuni. She awkwardly turned back to her studies. I'm fine. Just spacing out a bit. Korea's A-rank hero, real name Shin Haju. When acting as a hero, she hides her identity with a cognitive impairment filter. So everyone thinks she's just an ordinary college student named Shin Haju. Ah no, maybe she's not entirely ordinary either. Because every man's gaze was aimed at her. Anyway, lately, she had been worrying about one thing. Namely, Haju kept muttering the name Egoistic all day. She circled that hateful name. Humans are all selfish. A massive question popped into her head. But why did he save the hostages? Suddenly, the person across from her pinched her cheek. Look at you. Making a sad face again. Chae-hyun cheerfully offered a suggestion. Put the assignment aside. Let's go eat mango bingsu, Haju's favorite. Haju's face immediately lit up. Mango. But it was instantly replaced in her mind by Egoistic's manic face and perverted laugh. Ha ha. Ha ha. Haju visibly darkened in a blink. Chae-hyun held her and carefully observed her expression. Even mangoes can't fix this? No way. Then she heard her snap her pin and mutter, the mango is mine. Chae-hyun coaxed her like a child. All right. The mango is yours. All yours. The fire in her heart burned like the flames of hell. Am I getting brainwashed by that guy Egoistic? I will definitely force you out of hiding. Even though she was angry when fed mango ice cream, she still ate it. So cute. In the heart of Seoul, where the villain the hero was obsessed with lived. In a very ordinary-looking house. But when the main door opened, next to the entryway, there was another door. When the second door opened, surprisingly, an elevator appeared. After entering the elevator and typing in the passcode, the doors closed and the elevator began to descend, going down dozens of underground floors. The destination was Egoistic's base. Kim Jane proudly lay in the glass pod, dubbed the Ego Pod. Seon looked annoyed. Appa, why do you arbitrarily name other people's houses? He used his very natural logic. Seon, there's no distinction between whose house is whose between us, right? Your house is my house, and my house is your house. The girl pouted in disdain, but didn't deny it. What the heck? That makes absolutely no sense. Suddenly, his knees wouldn't let him relax like that. The pain shot through him, making him thrash and scream. Arg! Seon irritably criticized him. Appa, stop talking nonsense. Lie still so you can heal faster. Don't make a fuss. Kim Jane whined, don't say that. Because I teleported while carrying another person, I'm twice as exhausted. Suddenly, he smiled slyly. Han Seon, the one with super intellect. He was definitely aiming a greedy look at the girl sitting on the sofa. Where was I reading? Oh. His face looked satisfied. Although this wasn't the reason I recruited her as an accomplice, this fatigue recovery capsule is truly the best. Seon looked at him randomly, giving a thumbs up. A weird look. What? The door suddenly opened. The person he risked his life to save walked in. I'm back. The fridge was empty, so? Lee Subin asked shyly, I wonder if anyone wants some snacks? Kim Jane immediately startled and yelled, Aren't you a wanted fugitive? She excitedly demonstrated. I covered my face completely before going out. He bristled in panic. That's even more suspicious. However, Seon put her book down and ran over obediently. Melona. But seeing this, Kim Jane had an unusual speculation. Did she tell me to kidnap someone just to make them run errands? He immediately teleported in front of the girl. Why did you tell me to bring this person here? The girl unwrapped her ice cream and replied casually. I was planning to ask her for a little help. Kim Jane threw a fit. What? He whispered frantically. That's something you should consider before they commit terrorism. He opposed bringing a terrorist home. Seon, can you guarantee she won't shoot up our house? The girl sighed in denial. That's not going to happen, she firmly asserted, and this person had no intention of participating in the terrorism. She was dragged out by your lackeys and practically forced. Then she pointed straight at the girl. Yini. Oh wait, Appa. I mean, Yini. It's Lee Subin, right? She startled. Huh. How do you know my name? Seon naturally understood everything. I know everything. Lee Subin. The girl even knew her family registry. Your parents were both researchers for the Hanun group, right? Her face turned pale. How did you know? Seon calmly recounted. I read the posts on the deep web. Those masking programs have a lot of loopholes. Do you want revenge? She stepped closer to Lee Subin. The Hanun group. Do you want to avenge what they did to your parents? I'm looking for the heads of the Hanun group. I was also harmed a lot. She boldly extended an invitation. We have to find those bastards and crush them to pieces for me to feel at peace. Yini, will you help me? In a flash, Kim Jane understood Seon's reasoning. So that's it. That girl is also a victim of Hanun, just like Seon. When I wanted Seon to be my first accomplice, I also convinced her by promising to help her get revenge. Of course, my goal was to prevent her from becoming an S-rank villain later on. But anyway, I have no impression of this Lee Subin in the original story, so she's probably just a minor character. That might be proof she's harmless. But I have to see if she can be of any help to me first. Suddenly, he snapped out of it when he saw the two girls hugging and crying. Kim Jane stood there dumbfounded amidst their sobbing. Wah, Yini, sob Seon. This development is way too fast. Am I the only one not catching up emotionally? Seon, your cool image is ruined. He silently watched the two of them get emotional for a long time. Then he quietly went back to his pod. Whatever, I'll just lie still. That evening, at a cozy restaurant, everyone was worried and concerned for a young couple. The restaurant was quiet. Only the sound of the wife sobbing could be heard. Sob tears streamed endlessly down her cheeks. Her desperate voice demanded an answer. Why? Sob, did you do this to me? However, the person across from her glared at her gloomily. Damn it, you're ruining my appetite. Hey, I'm confessing my love to you. Why do you look so sad? This incident prompted someone to report it to the police. An officer with a cold expression approached their table. There's a report of assault. Please come with me to the station. The man muttered curses. Oh, damn it. Let me eat in peace. Get lost. The police officer couldn't wait any longer and placed a hand on his shoulder. All right then, consider yourself under arrest. The man's body flashed with a red light. Suddenly, the police officer was teleported to the edge of the building's rooftop railing. The man's perverted tone rang out behind him. The two of us going to the station together? He disdainfully threw a kick. Fine, but let me send you off first. Caught off guard, the police officer fell from the high-rise. The man gave a cold smile. Who do you think you are, arguing with me, you fake cop? This is the A-rank villain, Kim Ha-chuan. The spatial teleporter. The world appeared in ashes. A scream rang out. Did you think killing me would change this world? Han Si-eun. The White Witch, the fifth-ranked villain, looking completely different from her current self. It was unclear what the hero's expression was. A call interrupted the flashback. Appa. Back to the present. 16-year-old Han Si-eun, who loved orange juice, yelled, "You drank all my orange juice again, didn't you?" Lee Soo-bin, who was washing dishes, spoke up awkwardly. "Si-eun, I'm sorry. I was the one who drank it. I'll buy you some more." Si-eun, who was just scolding her older brother, ran over and hugged her. She changed her tune as fast as lightning, smiling brightly. "It's okay, Yinny." Seeing this, Kim Jane grimaced in disdain. "She treats me completely differently." He suddenly asked, "By the way, Si-eun, have you finally stopped cross-dressing?" The girl immediately yelled in anger. Kim Jane took the opportunity to tease her. Haha. The lives of the three passed happily and peacefully, reviewing the tragedy mentioned in the original story. Han Si-eun, with her super intellect ability. She was the sole survivor of the Blossom Project conducted by the Hanun Group. Hundreds of children were subjected to illegal experiments. One day, a child developed unforeseen complications. Everyone involved died, except for Si-eun. The entire building collapsed at that time. After that, with a body full of injuries, she fled the experimental facility, hid in a basement, and built the hideout they were in now. She lived alone like that for many years, until I found her. Kim Jane's sudden appearance happened when she was resting peacefully. A chair crashed down, creating a loud noise. Si-eun bristled like a hedgehog on high alert. Kim Jane calmly made an offer. "Don't you want to take revenge on them?" "I also need your help," Han Si-eun. Under the girl's terrified gaze, he reached out his hand in a friendly manner. "I'm not here to hurt you." And that was the first step leading to the present. "I'm here to save you." Unlike in the original story. In the original story, consumed by hatred, Si-eun later became an S-rank villain and lost her life. I feel so sorry for her. I promised I wouldn't let her go down the villain path ever again, though he had some doubts. But now that she's my accomplice, does that count as being a villain? Anyway, let's stay on the right path. Feeling his intense stare, Si-eun turned around and waved her hands. "What are you looking at? You don't even understand it. So why look?" Kim Jane's gaze shifted to the other person. As for Soo-bin, both her parents were researchers but passed away. She self-studied and got into a prestigious university. He also knew this girl's information well, majoring in computer engineering, so she'll probably be in charge of supporting Si-eun with hacking later. He casually took a sip of water. Even though she's a character I've never known and seems a bit suspicious, I have to admit her cooking skills are top-notch. Suddenly, Si-eun held up a small mechanical spider. "Done. External tracking sensor." Kim Jane took it with a dark expression. "What's a tracker for?" The girl clicked her tongue in annoyance. "TSK, TSK. Did you forget our job?" She pointed at the guy on the screen. "It's for the guy on the list. The villain you chose." He was stunned with surprise. "The teleporter is him?" Kim Jane knew him well, summarizing his abilities. This guy can teleport infinitely over short distances without suffering any drawbacks. He can't be bound by psychokinesis. Extremely tough to deal with. The girl smiled excitedly again. The harder the opponent, the more we need to take them out first. He was miserable and in pain. "Do you understand my suffering when I teleport continuously and how exhausting it is?" Si-eun cheered him on. "Get to work, egos tick." They quickly set off. The destination was a small apartment in a remote area. Kim Jane sneaked onto the building, feeling anxious. "Si-eun, I can go in now, right?" The girl urged him. "What? You still haven't gone in? Hurry up and go in." However, he was still nervous and tense. Is it really okay to just teleport right into the living room like this? What if he's in there? Si-eun sighed and repeated it one more time. "I've told you so many times. You shoot the bullet with the tracker attached. Even if he dodges the bullet by teleporting, it'll still stick to him." Kim Jane looked at the shiny gun. "What? Why?" The girl started getting annoyed. "Because I made it faster than the bullet. Even if I explained it to you, a humanities major, you wouldn't understand. Just go in." Even so, he hesitated. Wouldn't it be faster to just kill him cleanly on the street? Si-eun wanted to flip the table at her older brother's personality. He never goes out on the street in the first place. He only uses teleportation. I investigated and prepared this plan in advance. Oh my god, I'm so anxious. She was burning with impatience and hastily gulped down a bottle of water. Lee Subin nervously cheered him on from the side. Ego's tick. You can do it. Hearing that, the girl shyly followed suit. Ego's tick. You can do it. Kim Jane felt like he had been given a power boost. All right. Thanks. Let's begin. He abruptly teleported into the criminal's house right after he finished showering, startling him with his appearance. Immediately, Seon yelled, Appa, shoot. He raised the gun and pulled the trigger. Click. 2 small spiders instantly shot out at an unimaginable speed. As expected, Hachuan immediately disappeared from his spot. Kim Jane dropped the gun right away. Damn it. Seon, did the tracker stick? Seon had a grasp on the situation. It stuck. Subin, report his position. She quickly found his current location. He's currently 500 meters east of here. He didn't think much and followed the instructions. Okay. Suddenly, he appeared right in the middle of the street. Who is that? What is that? The people around immediately recognized him. Hey, isn't that Ego's tick? It really is him. He frowned, observing his surroundings. Damn it. This situation wasn't in the plan. And his presence immediately went viral on social media. At Jian University's lecture hall, Haju was focusing on her studies, unaware of what was happening. Suddenly, a voice came through her comms with an announcement. Ego's tick has appeared in the middle of the city. Superhero Stardust, prepared to deploy to the scene by order of the association. She panicked, jumped up, and yelled, What? Everyone in the class turned to look at her. Sorry, everyone. Haju hurriedly packed her things and left. Excuse me. She rushed off as fast as she could. What is he up to this time? Ego's tick. Seon carefully checked the tracker. Appa. Over there. Right at the intersection ahead. Kim Jane quickly spotted Hachuan staggering away. Is he shot? Right at that moment, the light turned red. He recklessly jumped out to block his path. Whatever. Just go for it. Seon's panicked voice rang in his ear. Jane Appa. His impatience to catch the A-rank criminal made him cross the street without looking. A truck was rushing towards him at breakneck speed. It was unknown if he could react in time to escape with his life. While fleeing, Kim Hachuan suddenly remembered that fateful day. Kim Hachuan, you took our money and ran away? You must have felt pretty good, huh? The Kim Hachuan of that time was helpless and weak, only able to whimper and beg. I'll pay it back. Please let me go. Feeling his sincerity wasn't enough, he switched to screaming and begging. I'll pay it back. These words annoyed the leader. Unable to stand it anymore, he bluntly pressed a cigarette into the rope tying Kim Hachuan. I don't fucking need it anymore. Witnessing this scene, he struggled even harder. No, don't. I was wrong. Please spare me just this once. No matter what he said, the rope burned through, and he fell straight into the sea. At this point, with nothing left to lose, Kim Hachuan bluntly cursed. Bastards. You motherfuckers. As his face was about to hit the water, he used all the rage in his heart to scream. I curse you all to die? Right at that moment, Kim Hachuan suddenly disappeared, and when the group was about to leave, he unexpectedly appeared nearby. This strange phenomenon made the group turn pale with fear. What the? As for Kim Hachuan, seeing himself still safe and sound, he was bewildered and didn't understand anything. What? Once they calmed down, the group quickly rushed towards him. Catch him. In no time, Kim Hachuan was surrounded, yet he still hadn't moved an inch. This ability. After standing still for a moment, Kim Hachuan clenched his fists, his heart filled with ecstatic joy. So now, no one in this world can catch me anymore. Thinking of this, he quickly disappeared, causing the two sides to crash into each other, and then he ran away. No one can. Back to the present, the truck driver realized there was a person and slammed on the brakes. But Ego's tick had disappeared and reappeared inside the cab, scaring the living daylights out of the driver. Seeing that he was still safe and sound, Kim Hachuan was furious. Motherfucker. Realizing the situation was bad, he turned and bolted. I timed it perfectly, yet he still dodged it. Bastard. As soon as he got out of the truck, Kim Hachuan had already teleported to the roof of a nearby building. Carefully observing the situation, he gritted his teeth in fury. It really is Ego's tick. Did he kill those two villains not out of personal grudges? The more he thought about it, the more Kim Hachuan couldn't swallow this anger. Obviously, he and I have nothing to do with each other. Down below, After getting out of the truck, Ego's Tick was surrounded by many citizens. Yes. I'm busy working right now, so I can't talk much. Oh my, don't be afraid. I won't hurt anyone. Now, go to hell, you A-rank villain with the teleportation ability. As these words were spoken, a crazy thought popped into Kim Ha-chuan's head. Could it be? He specializes in hunting down villains and executing them? As soon as he snapped out of his thoughts, Ego's Tick appeared out of nowhere. From then on, wherever Kim Ha-chuan went, he followed. Trash belongs in the trash can. Garbage villains must be erased from the world. Come here. One piece of trash. I'll clean up today. Damn it. Being tailed so much, he went crazy and grabbed a nearby citizen. Why can I still hear that guy's voice in my ear? Kim Ha-chuan immediately threw the person behind him and ran away. Before the girl could even fall, Ego's Tick reached out and caught her. Oh my. While the girl was still dazed, he gently asked, "Are you okay, miss?" This gentleness made the girl blush. Yes. After continuously teleporting, Kim Ha-chuan had exhausted most of his strength. Unable to endure it any longer, he officially collapsed. Why me? After letting the girl rest, Ego's Tick shifted his attention to his original target. A-rank villain, the teleporter. Seeing him say nothing, he pulled out a handgun and pointed it straight at his head. You have confessed your own crimes. Suddenly being scolded like that, the unconscious Kim Ha-chuan had to argue back. Ego's Tick sneered and retorted, "Motherfucker, you're a villain yourself. But at least I'm not as cowardly as you." Saying that, he turned and shouted to the onlookers. "Everyone, this piece of trash robbed tens of billions in assets and murdered 4 innocent people. Those people were someone's husband, father, friend, or son. Do you want to spare this cold-blooded murderer?" Asked like that, the people present didn't hesitate to answer briefly. "Finish him off. That's right, finish him off. Kill him. Kill him." Hearing these words, Kim Ha-chuan thrashed around. "Sons of bitches. If you're telling him to kill me, how are you any different from me?" Hearing the people's answers, Ego's Tick smiled with satisfaction. "Ha-chuan, actually, your biggest crime is that you'll later become an S-rank villain, murder hundreds of people, and torment Stardust countless times." Snapping out of his thoughts, he changed his expression and threatened in a low voice. "Are you saying those two things are the same? Sorry, but it looks like you have to die here." Right after that moment, an agonizing scream rang out. After finishing the job, Ego's Tick cautiously observed his surroundings. What caught his eye was the ecstatic joy of the citizens. This reaction surprised Ego's Tick. Wait, seeing someone shot dead right in front of them. Shouldn't people be screaming in fear? Having finished his work, he stood up in a daze, observing the crowd's joyful expressions. This world, aside from having superpowers, isn't much different from my old world. But in moments like this, I truly realize I'm in a different world. The people here are really hard to understand. After thinking it over, Ego's Tick put that matter aside, took off his hat, and greeted them. "But, I'm a villain. Aren't you all afraid?" Witnessing this expression, the surrounding people also felt a bit apprehensive. Right at this moment, a familiar voice rang out. Ego's Tick. Knowing full well who the voice belonged to, Ego's Tick quickly looked up at the sky. Damn it, I drew attention for too long. Stardust quickly landed, pointing straight at his face and scolding him. "You bastard, Ego's Tick." Ego's Tick didn't mind at all and just focused on admiring the newcomer. Normally, she's just a slightly aloof college student. But when she becomes a hero, she changes her tone like it's a historical drama. Thinking of this, his simp mode was activated. She's so damn cute. However, that demeanor was misunderstood by Stardust. What did you do? No matter how infatuated he was, Ego's Tick still played the villain role perfectly. What do you mean? What did I do? I just took care of an evil A-rank villain who murdered people and robbed a bank. I just did the job the heroes are supposed to do. Faced with these words, Stardust couldn't argue. Seeing her reaction, he continued talking. Did I do something wrong? An A-rank villain can inherently be judged on the spot by a hero, right? Unable to argue, she completely changed the subject. Ego's Tick, do you think you're a hero? This statement successfully stunned Ego's Tick. I'm a villain. Saying this, he suddenly realized something. In that case, there must be a lot of people filming and cheering for Stardust, right? It's crowded here. Spot on. Snapping out of his thoughts, he smiled, clapped his hands, and brushed it off. True. A villain like me punishing the wicked is indeed against the law. But I truly admire your ironclad sense of justice. Perhaps I should retreat for today? These words once again gave the people present something to talk about. That's right. Are villains only supposed to fight heroes? He sounds so cool. In the end, you arrived late anyway. You didn't even take down the teleporter. Honestly speaking, did Egostick do anything wrong? These words made Stardust feel inevitably confused and saddened. Not only her, but Egostick also felt the world was turning into a chaotic mess. What? Something seems wrong. Right at this moment, Han Seon urged him through the earpiece. Appa, stop rambling and let's go. Being rushed, combined with the current situation, he panicked and explained, No, I don't mean what I did was right. I will continue to do evil deeds. If Stardust wants to stop me, then go ahead. Pausing for a moment, Egostick returned to his cool state. Well then, that's all for today. After saying that, he immediately used his power to disappear. With nothing left to watch, the crowd also dispersed, leaving a still pensive Stardust behind. We should get going too, right? Let's go. When everyone had left, she walked over to the dead Kim Ha-cheon with a sad expression. Returning to the base, as soon as he arrived, Egostick collapsed. Han Seon, who was waiting, called out loudly. Subin, over here. Hurry up. Lee Subin, being called, rushed over in a panic. What's wrong? The girl sat down, examining the situation while explaining, it's the side effect of his teleportation ability. After checking, the two girls simultaneously dragged him back to his room. All right. 1, 2. Right at this moment, the phone in Egostick's pocket vibrated. It turned out an article about that afternoon's event had been posted on the free forum. Favorability poll. Who do you like more, the badass bro Egostick or the old-fashioned Stardust? How about that? It's definitely me. That evening, Stardust sat on some building, quietly reading that post. After reading it, she couldn't hide her sadness. Sitting on the roof of that building, Stardust recalled some unpleasant events from the past. When she was still just Shin Haju, a 17-year-old high school student, a tragedy occurred. No. Mom. Dad. Witnessing her agonizing state, the robber smugly held the stolen wallet in his hand. You should have just obediently handed this over. Observing his prize for a long time, he put it away, pulled out a handgun, and threatened, blame your stupid parents. Even with a gun pointed at her head, Shin Haju had nothing left to lose at that moment, so she wasn't afraid at all. Not seeing the expression he wanted, the robber felt bored. He then smiled brightly and put the gun away. Lucky. You're lucky, huh? Saying that, the robber tossed his cigarette and turned to leave, letting the person who murdered her parents walk away. Shin Haju was unwilling, but could only helplessly collapse and cry. If only I had the power to protect Mom and Dad. No matter how much she regretted it, everything had already happened. Mom. Dad. I will kill that bastard. After that declaration, Shin Haju could only sit there beside her parents' bodies, crying her eyes out. Right at this moment, a ray of light appeared in the dark sky. Immediately after, a shooting star plummeted straight into the narrow alley. The crying high school student Shin Haju saw the strange light and looked up to observe. As soon as she looked up, a blinding light hit her eyes. Immediately after, a strange light appeared in the alley. When the light gradually faded, Shin Haju had fainted, and her hair had turned from black to blonde. The next day at the secret base, after resting fully, Kim Jane finally opened his eyes. Han Seon had been waiting by the glass, just waiting for this moment to cheer. You're awake. Before he could even say anything, he was met with the girl. He said tiredly, soon. He was then treated to a hot meal. While he was eating, Han Seon suddenly brought her phone over. Appa, eat and listen to this. The girl immediately read the article on the phone screen to him. Summary of the truth about A-rank villain Egostick. Real. Let's just state the facts about A-rank villain Egostick. Reading the article carefully, Han Seon recounted the numerous achievements Jane had accomplished. Eliminated A-rank villain Rhino. Eliminated A-rank villain Enzo Diak. For the Korean citizens who were already fed up, he even orchestrated and suppressed all the special situations at the observation deck. 0 casualties. Thinking the article ended there, the girl read further. At the same time, he also suppressed the cultists who caused trouble and took hostages in his name. and even paid compensation to the hostages. Pausing for a moment, Han Seon read the rest of the article. The A-rank villain, the teleporter who had been in hiding for a long time. Even though there was a bounty, the authorities deemed capturing him extremely difficult. Honestly, Egostick doesn't look like a villain at all. Feeling it wasn't shocking enough, the girl smiled and revealed another piece of information. 7,842 likes. And 12 dislikes. What do you think? Hearing this, Jane panicked and hurriedly asked, "What about Stardust?" Hearing this name, Han Seon couldn't hide her annoyance. "Miss Stardust?" Look at the comments right below. Without waiting for him to take the phone, the girl read them out loud. Honestly, Egostick is better than Stardust. What has she even done so far? Hearing these words, Jane froze on the spot. It didn't stop there, the girl read more. King Ego has taken down 3 A+ villains already. After calming down, Jane asked hesitantly, "So, why is Stardust getting cursed at?" Faced with this question, Han Seon thought for a moment and replied, "Probably because out of the 3 A-rank heroes, she's the least active. Actually, Shadow Walker or Icicle have single-handedly saved dozens, hundreds of people. But Stardust hasn't done much." After reading everything, the girl hesitantly observed the reaction of the person next to her. That's how people are reacting. Hearing these comments, Jane couldn't hide his despair. Is that the majority? As if that wasn't shocking enough, Han Seon directly showed a screen with a weird mango on it to show off. Yeah. Meanwhile, Egostick even has a proper fan club. This information officially made Jane collapse, falling to his knees and tearing his hair out. Impossible. These crazy people. What do you mean a villain's fan club? Unable to accept this situation, he stood up and started plotting a plan. All right, I can't just let this be. After thinking it over, Jane decided. Let's start preparing for the next terrorist attack. Seon, Subin. You two can do it, right? Suddenly being called out by name, the two girls were stunned and panicked. Again, me. Ignoring the girl's depressed demeanor, Jane was full of excitement and anticipation. Anyway, I have to show the Korean people what a real villain is. And who the real hero is. Just wait. I will bring you back to the top. The person being anticipated was currently very satisfied, enjoying a glass of mango smoothie. Mango Club is absolutely delicious. While enjoying her drink, Shin Haju suddenly noticed something. It turned out the cherry blossoms outside had fully bloomed, creating a very romantic scene. As romantic and poetic as it was, her mind was filled only with people's judgmental comments. Being a hero is so grand. Huh? Only arriving after the job is done? She probably couldn't even catch the teleporter anyway. Remembering those words, Shin Haju sighed. Taking advantage of this, countless negative thoughts washed over her mind like a tidal wave. The public is more fanatic about Egostick, a villain slaughterer, than heroes who only deal out suspended sentences. I've done my best. Why am I still getting cursed at like this? Not letting herself stay negative like this, Shin Haju slapped her own cheeks a few times. Snap out of it. Right at this moment, a familiar voice rang out. Haju, why are you slapping your own face? Hearing this voice, she snapped back to reality. Seeing Kim Chae-hyun smiling gently and sitting down next to her, Shin Haju was thrilled. She looked at her junior, smiled brightly, and suggested, "The weather is so nice. Let's take a little break." Being invited like that, Shin Haju didn't hesitate to agree immediately. You're right. Since when did the cherry blossoms bloom like this? Kim Chae-hyun excitedly took out her phone. All right. Do you want to see this? It's really popular lately, but Haju probably doesn't know about it yet. She showed a video of a dancing mango to introduce it. How is it? It's hilarious, right? Lately, I think Egostick is really charismatic. Seeing that image, Shin Haju gritted her teeth, unwilling to accept it. Even Chae-hyun Yuni likes him. While scrolling through her phone, she suddenly noticed something. What's this? Kim Chae-hyun held out her phone screen. Haju, Egostick is live streaming right now. Hearing this, she was surprised. What? As soon as she took out her phone, the familiar voice rang out. Egostick is once again targeting Stardust. Immediately return to the association and deploy to the scene. As soon as the announcement ended, Shin Haju slammed the table and stood up. Chae-hyun Yuni, I have an urgent matter, so I have to go first. Sorry. Saying that, she turned and ran quickly out of the cafe, not giving Chae-hyun a chance to say a word. Haju. As she ran, Shin Haju made a resolution. Just you wait, ego's tick. I will definitely catch you this time. Meanwhile, at a certain cliff, a familiar screen appeared, followed by Egostic's voice. Long time no see, everyone. I am the villain, ego's tick. After introducing himself, he looked forward to the rapidly scrolling comments. How will they react? This is crazy. Do they see this as some kind of surprise event, or what? Not overthinking it, Egostick opened his phone and spoke playfully. There's been a lot of news about me lately, huh? I'm not a hero. I'm a villain. I even have a fan club. Saying this, he gave a sinister smile and pointed his phone down at the train tracks. Perhaps everyone is misunderstanding something. I am a villain. Pointing at the people being held hostage, he then pointed at the train in the distance. The train is about to enter the station. Are you watching? As this question was asked, a comment popped up. He's still a die-hard Stardust fan. So sincere. Ignoring it, he began to explain. The rules of the game are simple. You choose. Egostick pointed the camera down at the tracks, starting to apply pressure. Keep the lever in its original position to save one person instead of 5, or sacrifice one person for the majority. If you pull the lever, the one person will be crushed. Saying this, he thought of Lee Soo-bin, who was controlling the train, and continued to apply pressure. Don't think too fast. If you try to pull these people off the tracks, I'll derail the train immediately. Understand? After explaining the rules, Egostick invited her. You only have one choice. That is, pull the lever. As soon as he finished speaking, Stardust appeared. You bastard, Egostick. The girl didn't think much and charged straight down, standing below him. He looked on with satisfaction. You're here. Looking at the people being held hostage, she began to calculate. If I try to save them, then the passengers on the train will be in danger. Think, Stardust. How can I save everyone? Witnessing her hesitant expression, Egostick went against his conscience and urged her. Come on, come on. The pin-taking train is entering the station. How will our Stardust choose? Before she even did anything, the viewers were already guessing. Egostick was very satisfied with these comments. Sure enough, everyone thinks Stardust will pull the lever. But I believe, because of that, I know she's not that kind of person. Right at this moment, Lee Soo-bin panicked and yelled through the earpiece. Jane, she's running towards me. What should I do? Looking at the figure sprinting like the wind, he reassured her. I'm live streaming, so I muted the mic. Let me broadcast first. Don't worry. She won't come to hurt you, Soo-bin. Keep moving forward. At this point, Lee Soo-bin felt a bit more confident. Having successfully reassured her, Egostick continued playing the villain role. Okay, now turn the mic back on. Whoa, is this allowed? What is Stardust doing? She can do that. She'll be blown to pieces like that. Why is she charging in to commit suicide? Stop. No matter what was said, Stardust and the train collided head-on. And with all her might, she tried to encourage herself. Just hold on a little longer. But suddenly, the train accelerated. This state surprised Egostick. Is its speed even faster? Realizing something, he panicked. Soo-bin. Miss Soo-bin. Wake up. Like someone who had passed out ages ago. Receiving no response, he panicked. I didn't prepare for this. Looking at Stardust standing blankly at the foot of the mountain, he continued his psychological attack. Come on, come on. The pin-taking train is entering the station. How will our Stardust choose? Even though he said that outwardly, internally he was full of anticipation looking at the girl below. The girl full of justice will choose. The person he was anticipating was currently struggling through a bitter mental battle. After thinking for a while, she made her own decision. Stardust gritted her teeth and charged straight at the train. Witnessing this action, Egostick was very satisfied and pulled the brim of his hat lower. Up to this point, everything is going exactly according to plan. Satisfied with what was happening, he carried a terrified, struggling girl closer to the tracks. When he arrived, Egostick gently set the pale-faced girl down on the tracks. Not stopping there, he also took out duct tape to secure the girl. Even though he was doing this, internally Egostick was screaming. I'm so obsessed. If it weren't for Shadow Walker working at night, maybe it would be more comfortable. Preparing for a terrorist attack during the day requires paying attention to so many things. Regardless, he finished tying the final knot. After securing the hostages, Egostick used his teleportation power to get to the cliff to watch the show. Observing the 5 people he tied to the tracks, he was very satisfied with his work. I'm a little proud of myself. Looking at the peaceful scenery before him, Ego's tick recalled some information. In the original story, Stardust gets weaker after clashing with villains, but in return, she matures. So if I eliminate the villains first to help her, she'll lose the opportunity to grow. Snapping out of his thoughts, he reached out and wrote a few familiar lines on the ground. After writing, Ego's tick smiled smugly and told himself, "Consider this a specially tailored physical training zone for you." Back to the present, seeing Stardust using all her might to charge straight at the train, he was somewhat caught off guard and hurriedly tried to stop her. "What are you doing? You'll be blown to pieces like that, Stardust." That scene also gave the onlookers at home something to talk about. Looking at each comment, Ego's tick felt despair. This wasn't my intention. Even though he said that outwardly, internally he was extremely smug about what was happening. It really was my intention. At this moment, Stardust had crashed straight into the train, shattering the front of it. Standing on the cliff, Ego's tick chilled and watched, analyzing the scene. Her abilities, both in terms of muscle and flight, are lacking by about 2%. She's still just a near A-rank hero. So stopping this train might be beyond her capabilities. But there's one trait about her that others don't know. Carefully observing Stardust's tense, determined face, Ego's tick gave an honest assessment. That is, when faced with danger, her powers will explode powerfully. Even though he thought that, Stardust was gradually being pushed back. Despite this, he was still very confident. Therefore, she is completely capable of stopping this. With that fierce belief, the train's engine began to rattle. However, not only did it not stop, but it pushed even harder. This phenomenon made Ego's tick feel quite uneasy. Is the train's speed even faster? Realizing this, he quickly called his accomplice, but Lee Subin had already passed out ages ago. "Subin, Miss Subin, wake up." Receiving no response, Ego's tick immediately fell into a state of panic. I didn't prepare for this. Just like that, the worst possible scenarios played out in his mind like a movie. Could it be? Could it be? If the people tied to the tracks die, then no matter if it's a path paved with flowers, Stardust's image as a brave superhero will definitely be destroyed. Thinking of that scenario, Ego's tick tore his hair out in frustration. What do I do? At the same time, the train was getting closer to the unfortunate girl. Realizing this, Stardust gritted her teeth and used more power than usual. Seeing that the train wasn't stopping, she used all her remaining strength to hold it back. Even though the front of the train was almost completely smashed, it hadn't slowed down at all. Standing above, Ego's tick looked at Stardust below with anticipation. Please, please. As the distance between the train and the hostages gradually closed, he could only pray. Please. Suddenly, Ego's tick noticed something. It turned out that after all the effort, the train was finally stopped by Stardust, and this entire thing was recorded by phones. Witnessing the unbelievable happen, Ego's tick was visibly overjoyed. She stopped it. We've temporarily escaped this dead end. Amidst this chaotic, desolate scene, he was filled with anticipation. Come on, show yourself, Stardust. Will she be okay? The train was too fast. Looking at the phone screen live streaming everything, Ego's tick started overthinking. Could she be dead? Could she? At that moment, Stardust's familiar figure appeared. Seeing the girl he longed for still safe and sound, he couldn't hide his excitement and cheered. A moment later, realizing he was still a villain, he quickly composed himself. Ah, no. No. You stopped it. You actually stopped it. You really held on, huh? My plan wasn't like this, but... Shifting his attention to the dazed Stardust, Ego's tick hypnotized himself. She found a way to solve the dilemma in her own way. That's right. This declaration made the comments explode once again. Reading every single word, Egostic's entire face was filled with excitement. Yes, this is exactly how the reaction should be. See, with that sky-high pride, he took the opportunity to shower the girl standing below with praise. This is the hero named Stardust. Look at how much her power exploded just from her desire to save people. After using all her remaining strength to try, Stardust finally couldn't hold on anymore and collapsed directly. Witnessing this, his eyes were filled with worry. Not caring about his image anymore, Ego's tick jumped straight down to check on the situation. Approaching the girl, he felt a pang of sadness when he heard her faint cursing. You bastard. Ego's tick. No matter how sad he was, Egostick still focused on the current issue. All right, you did very well. In a way I never imagined. This is your victory. Saying that, he closed her eyes to let her rest, then gave a few final words. I'm leaving. Rest well. Soon, other heroes will come to help you. After letting Stardust rest, he stood up, took off his hat, and expressed his condolences. Yes, my terrorist attack ends here. Thank you for watching. Following that statement, the screen went black, and a shocking comment was posted. What's with the ambiguous atmosphere between those two? The next morning at the secret base, Han Seon ran around full of energy. Wake up, you sleepyheads. Kim Jane and Lee Soo-bin, after yesterday's event, were both haggard and exhausted. Oh my god, I'm dying. Good morning, Seon. This appearance made the girl judge them a bit. It was just one terrorist attack. Why is everyone so worn out? Not scolding them anymore, Han Seon pointed at the table full of food and invited them. Look at these hot dishes. The two's eyes lit up brighter than headlights. Seon, did you prepare all this? Kim Jane was completely awake now, walking over to pat Han Seon's head in praise. Thank you, Seon. It's nothing. Feeling shy for a moment, the girl directly reached out and pinched his waist. While Kim Jane was still writhing, Han Seon quickly sat at the table and urged them. Hurry up and eat. It's going to get cold. Seriously. Well then. The three of them then sat at the table and began to enjoy breakfast. Enjoy your meal, everyone. After saying that, everyone focused on enjoying the delicacies. While eating, Han Seon suddenly noticed the remote nearby and immediately reached for it. The girl then ate hurriedly and ran to the sofa to watch TV. Let's check the new news. As soon as the news broadcast started, Han Seon excitedly pointed at the screen. Let's see how our achievements from yesterday are being reported. Next news. Hearing these words, Kim Jane, who was eating, couldn't hide his smugness. My image as a villain must be deeply engraved now. Naturally, Stardust also skyrocketed, killing two birds with one stone. Right at this moment, Han Seon suddenly burst out laughing. This strange state confused him. What is it? The girl pointed at the screen and yelled excitedly. They're saying you two are dating. Right then, the anchor's commentary rang out. This is about the aftermath of A-rank hero Stardust stopping the train yesterday morning. First, please direct your attention to this photo. Immediately after, the moment he closed her eyes to let her rest appeared. The anchor then continued. Looking at this, you can clearly see. Between the villain and the hero, they look just like a pair of lovers. In another corner, Shin Haju, watching the entire broadcast, couldn't hold back her anger and crushed her glass. Meanwhile, the person involved, Kim Jane, was terrified. What the hell is this? The host said, in Korea, the most beloved villain is Egostick. The rising rookie superhero, Stardust. The dating rumors between these two are truly a hot topic right now. Reporter Park, what is the reason this romance rumor exploded? Reporter Park pointed at the screen and continued. Look at this, do you notice it? The host said, huh? Yes. This is a text with Stardust's name on it. Reporter Park slammed his hand on the desk and stood up, speaking loudly. Wrong. It's not just a simple text. To my dear Stardust, this is a gift I give to you. That's exactly what it means. And next, the screen showed the scene where Kim Jane was kneeling on one knee next to the unconscious Shin Haju. He said, all right, you did very well. In a way I never imagined. This is your victory. Reporter Park pointed at this scene and strongly affirmed, look closely. If this isn't love, then what is it? When Egostick said those final words and closed her eyes, Stardust also peacefully fell asleep. Reporter Park said, if those two aren't dating, then what do you call this? Elsewhere, Shin Haju was sitting alone in a study room watching that discussion. Shin Haju, in a gloomy mood, rested her forehead on her hand and thought to herself, are people out of their minds? Me, dating that crazy villain? That will absolutely never happen. Shin Haju fell silent for a moment. Then she asked herself again, what is this? Obviously, towards that guy, I feel a surge of hatred and disgust. But it seems like there's a confusing feeling mixed in between. While Shin Haju was sadly muttering to herself, a girl walked over. Kim Chae-yun looked at Shin Haju with a sympathetic expression and said, Haju, your soul has been exhausted by your assignments. Then Kim Chae-yun took out an ice cream flyer and smiled brightly at Shin Haju. Let me heal you today. Next, Kim Chae-hyun tossed the flyer aside, looking at her with bright, emotional eyes. Just trust me today. Let's go hang out together. Elsewhere, incessant whining echoed from the house. Please, please. Han Seon was lying on the floor, throwing a tantrum. I really want to go. Lee Soo-bin didn't know what to do and said, Seon, don't whine like that. Han Seon stubbornly said, we've already committed terrorism twice. Now I want to go play. Just then, Kim Jane also spoke up. Miss Soo-bin, Seon, how about we all go out for a trip? As soon as Han Seon heard this, she immediately sat up, stopping her tantrum. The girl cheered in joy. Soo-bin also smiled. Kim Jane was also holding the same ice cream festival flyer as Kim Chae-hyun earlier. He smiled and thought, this plot point wasn't in the original story, but it probably won't be a problem, right? On Shin Haju's side, she was also in a better mood, looking forward to it. An ice cream festival? At the ice cream festival, everywhere you looked, there were people. The scene was full of life. Kim Jane marveled, wow. Even though it's a weekday afternoon, it's quite crowded. Han Seon, holding an ice cream cone and walking beside him, asked Kim Jane in confusion, Appa, are you wearing black again? Kim Jane smiled and replied, Seon, men should wear black. Han Seon laughed and said, what nonsense are you talking about? Kim Jane seemed quite surprised. This kid is smiling so brightly, and she even called me Appa? Kim Jane smiled slightly and thought, it seems she's genuinely very happy. Han Seon cheered and pointed ahead. Rice ice cream is over there. Then Han Seon immediately ran excitedly to the ice cream stand. Kim Jane smiled and said to Lee Soo-bin, going out to play is really worth it. Huh? Lee Soo-bin smiled happily and replied, yeah, you're right. She looks very happy. Lee Soo-bin activated the cognitive impairment filter just for herself. When Jane recruited me, I was already broadcasted once. Kim Jane tasted a spoonful of ice cream. He exclaimed in surprise, this is really good. Kim Jane took another spoonful and said, Soo-bin, you should try some too. Lee Soo-bin blushed shyly, looking at the spoonful of ice cream Kim Jane was offering. Han Seon, standing next to them, asked innocently, what's wrong? Are you sharing? Hurry up and eat it. Lee Soo-bin stammered, wait a minute. Lee Soo-bin shyly opened her mouth, slowly approaching the spoonful of ice cream, thinking, isn't this an indirect kiss? Finally, Lee Soo-bin tasted the ice cream. Immediately after, her face was full of enjoyment as she marveled, it's really good. Han Seon had also finished her ice cream cone. The girl happily ran to another ice cream stand. Over there. Mango ice cream. Kim Jane hurriedly said, wait for me. Han Seon stared at the ice cream through the glass with bright eyes. Then she quickly and excitedly said to the vendor, I'll have one ice cream cone. The vendor smiled as he scooped the ice cream and said to Kim Jane, oh my, this little girl looks exactly like her parents. So cute. Kim Jane was speechless. Excuse me? Then he closed his eyes and just went along with it. Haha. Ah yes. That's right. Lee Soo-bin, standing next to him, blushed furiously. Han Seon turned around, smiled, and quietly teased Kim Jane. Hey buddy, you look older than your actual age, huh? Kim Jane didn't back down and teased back. Maybe it's because of your height, not my fault. Han Seon couldn't win the argument, so she huffed. The vendor brought the ice cream out. Here's your ice cream, little girl. 1 cone, 2 cups to go. Everyone took their ice cream. Kim Jane smiled and asked Han Seon, did you order for us too? The girl replied, you're the leader of the mango club. You have to eat mango ice cream. Kim Jane was confused by his new identity and asked, mango club? Kim Jane looked at the vendor's smile and didn't know where to hide his face. He said awkwardly, it's nothing. Suddenly, Kim Jane's eyes widened in shock. It turned out the vendor was showing off the picture on the back of his shirt. It was an image of Kim Jane in his egoistic persona. The vendor smiled and said, I made it myself. Looks good, right? Kim Jane had a headache and couldn't even comment. Han Seon generously gave a thumbs up and praised, absolute cinema. A while later, the three of them sat on a bench, eating ice cream and relaxing. Suddenly, Kim Jane saw something. Kim Jane asked Han Seon, Seon, did you know I used to be a dart-throwing master back in the day? Kim Jane stood up, ready to show off his skills. I'll show you what I've got. Han Seon seemed to have caught him red-handed. She asked, hey Appa, are you planning to cheat using your telekinesis? Kim Jane instantly froze. The vendor said, we have an event going on. The vendor at the dart booth introduced it. If you hit the target 10 times, you'll be rewarded with that 10-tier ice cream. Han Seon said, I actually prefer the second prize. That teddy bear is much cuter. Kim Jane asked the vendor, anyway, the first prize winner can choose whatever they want, right? The vendor agreed. Kim Jane confidently promised Han Seon, Seon, did you hear that? I'll get it for you. Kim Jane thought to himself, I'll pretend to focus, then when no one's looking, I'll add a little power and throw it, and at this moment, Kim Chae-yun also walked up to the dart booth and asked the vendor, how much for one try? She caught the attention of Kim Jane next to her. He thought to himself, this person looks very familiar. Immediately after, Kim Jane was startled. He remembered who this person was. Kim Chae-yun, Shin Haju's college senior. Kim Chae-yun said excitedly, wow Haju. The prize even includes a 10-tier ice cream. Another female voice spoke up. Let me try to get one for you, Yuni. Han Seon saw Kim Jane standing frozen for a while and asked in confusion, what are you doing? Throw it already. At this moment, Lee Soo-bin and Han Seon finally noticed Shin Haju's appearance. The group of three officially broke into a cold sweat, not daring to make a sound. Then, Shin Haju glanced over at the three of them. She looked at Kim Jane, while Kim Jane was still frozen in his dart-throwing pose. Kim Chae-yun smiled brightly and pointed ahead. Haju, there's rice ice cream over there. The two went to the ice cream shop. Kim Chae-yun enjoyed the flavor ecstatically. It's so good. In a happy mood, she looked at Shin Haju. Haju, try this. Shin Haju leaned down and took a bite of the ice cream. After eating, her cheeks flushed pink and her eyes lit up. It's really good. Kim Chae-yun held the ice cream cup in her hand, smiling contentedly. Finally, your facial muscles have relaxed, Haju. It seemed the two girls were attracted by something and turned their heads at the same time. She grabbed Haju's hand, her heart filled with bright roses. Let's go? The flavor Haju likes best is over there. Looking at the food stall. It's mango flavor. Let's eat. Seeing the mango, Shin Haju's eyes sparkled with extreme delight. Mango. But not long after, her mood suddenly turned gloomy. Looking down, the vendor happily turned his back to reveal a chibi drawing on the back of his shirt. I made it myself. Kim Chae-hyun praised it enthusiastically. Oh my god, it's so cute. After that, the two girls rested on a cool bench. Kim Chae-hyun stretched comfortably. This is so nice. She tilted her head slightly and turned to Shin Haju. Haju likes it too, right? Going from frustrated to positive, she smiled. Haju replied, yeah, of course, Yuni. Then Shin Haju closed her eyes, enjoying the moment. Under the large cherry blossom tree, a few petals gently fell. Shin Haju thought, how long has it been since I went out to enjoy the scenery like this? A smile on her lips, her eyes closed. Not long after, Kim Chae-yun pointed at the food stall in front of them. Haju, after we finish this, let's go try that. Shin Haju looked at her intently as she got excited. Darts? Immediately, Shin Haju smiled brightly. Sounds fun. Balloons were neatly arranged and decorated on the roof of the stall in vibrant colors. The friendly vendor handed the two girls the darts. We have an event going on. If you hit the target 10 times, you'll be rewarded with a 10-tier ice cream. She looked at it gently and replied, yes, thank you. Her signature blue eyes scanned the area. Her gaze fell upon the three players who were sweating bullets. They looked like a young married couple. But why is the little girl's hair silver? No, maybe niece is more fitting. She stared at Kim Jane, who was looking nervous, and thought, and this man, why does he feel so familiar? Before she could think much longer, Kim Chae-yun cheered from behind. Haju, give it a throw. Hearing that, she quickly agreed. Shin Haju threw the dart straight, emitting a brilliant orange light. Kim Chae-yun laughed in delight. A bullseye on the first try. Kim Jane watched, sweating and feeling a bit anxious, thinking to himself, Stardust's abilities are monstrous strength and flight. He stared at her longer. But this monstrous strength isn't just simple strength. Then he used the item in his hand. To be more precise, at this moment, Shin Haju made another perfect throw. It's an extremely superior physique. An excited, eager voice rang out. 2 hits. He looked down, feeling a bit disappointed, and thought, right now, it's only when she needs it that her strength explodes terrifyingly. But later on, She will gradually become a superhuman beyond human limits. Haju threw the darts in a joyful mood. Not only her 5 senses, but her 6th sense will also develop. In other words, her instincts will make her immediately realize when something is wrong. Haju found it strange seeing Kim Jane looking so depressed. He kept thinking, the proof of that is right now. That alone is enough for her to sense that this guy might be egoistic. Then, if I reveal my identity as egoistic right here. The image of Shin Haju becoming a superhero flashed in his mind. Then she would throw him straight into prison. He'd be locked up. Shin Haju and Kim Chae-hyun hugged each other in joy, making him fall flat on his back. A dart thrown by Shin Haju at lightning speed popped the balloon. Seeing this, Kim Chae-hyun stood next to her, clapping and cheering wildly. Haju, you're amazing. You hit all 10. Hearing that, she immediately became shy and modest. It's nothing, really. Just a piece of cake. The cheerful staff member handed them a 10-tier ice cream. Here's your 10-tier ice cream. The staff member suddenly turned to Kim Jae-in. Aren't you going to throw, sir? Taken aback, he quickly replied, oh wow. The person next to me was so good that I got completely mesmerized watching her. I'll throw right now. Kim Jae-in turned to Han Seol, forcing a hesitant smile. Seol, watch this. I'll show you my dart throwing skills. The little girl cheered him on, though with a hint of suspicion. Hurry up. Kim Jae-in picked up all 10 darts at once, thinking nervously to himself. I don't need to use my powers. I'll just throw them randomly and get out of here. He quickly and decisively hurled them forward. But unfortunately, all 10 of his throws perfectly pierced 10 balloons. Everyone's jaws dropped in absolute shock. Kim Jae-in, on the other hand, was internally screaming. Why the hell did that happen? Holding the 10-tier ice cream, Kim Chae-hyun looked at him in amazement. The customer next to us is incredible too. The staff member brought out a stuffed bear. You said you wanted the teddy bear instead of the first prize, right? Here's your bear, ready to go. But Kim Jae-in chose to bolt away. The staff member reached out to stop him. Oh, wait a minute. The 3 of them ran off, laughing awkwardly. It's fine. We're leaving now. Han Seol quickly chimed in. Bye-bye. Holding the towering ice cream with a bright smile, Kim Chae-hyun called out. Hey, you there. We'll bring it over to you. Haju, take this to them. Shin Haju grabbed the bear and turned around. But halfway there, she tripped. Because it was so tall, the entire colorful 10-tier ice cream toppled right toward him. Seeing this, Kim Jae-in panicked. If even a single drop of that hits me, it's an instant bad ending. His eyes went wide and his jaw dropped. I have to dodge this at all costs. Kim Jae-in's brain went into overdrive as he leaped out of the splash zone, landing with a heavy thud. Everyone frantically rushed over. Han Seol panicked. Jae-in. Shin Haju gasped, looking incredibly guilty. Are you okay? Kim Chae-hyun's eyes drooped with worry as she covered her mouth. He quickly replied, I'm fine. You really don't need to worry. Slowly and cautiously, Kim Jae-in stood up, rubbing the back of his neck. It's nothing. I just overreacted a bit. I just needed to dodge it. Come on, let's go. The girl with him looked a bit annoyed. He thought to himself in a panic, what's the holdup? Please hurry. If we stay here any longer, we're all going to die. Cold sweat dripped down Kim Jae-in's face. He was only halfway through his sentence when an ominous cloud of smoke rolled in from behind. Let's get out of here, Shin Haju, and he instantly turned toward the bizarre phenomenon. The sky turned a sickly, ominous red, accompanied by thick, ashen smoke that sent the civilians fleeing in terror. From the shadows, the razor-sharp fangs of a green-scaled crocodile monster emerged. It puffed out its massive chest and let out a deafening roar. Get out here. A system panel popped up. Roger Man, a rank villain. Kim Jae-in pulled the 2 girls close, making his companion blush. You two, stay right here. His eyes sharpened with suspicion. According to the original plot, it's not time for that guy to show up yet. Why the hell is he making his move now? Shin Haju seemed to grasp the situation and immediately dashed forward. Kim Chae-hyun gasped. Haju. He gritted his teeth, a pained expression crossing his face. Running back to the association to grab a perception filter now would take too long. In the original story, the moment she reveals her face to the public marks the beginning of her tragic downfall. The image of a blonde woman hiding her face flashed in his mind. No, in the original plot, her appearance leads to absolute disaster. A sharp pain shot through Kim Ji-yeon's body as he clenched his jaw. I won't let that happen. Even if the sky falls, I will never let that happen. Kim Ji-yeon let out a fierce shout. Suddenly, streaks of purple lightning erupted, completely enveloping his body. Ego's tick. The blinding rays of light surged, growing more intense by the second. Kim Ji-yeon's casual clothes were blown away, scattering into the wind. In their place, he appeared clad in a sharp, elegant suit and a stylish hat. A complete 180 from his usual self. I'll pick up our stuff later, Seal. The little girl standing behind him stared. What are you doing? Without missing a beat, he gave her an order. Help me set up the broadcast. Han Seol sat there blankly, hugging her teddy bear and muttering, Ji-yeon. Meanwhile, the monster was going on a rampage, tearing everything apart with its bare hands. If you don't show yourself, I'll smash this whole place to pieces. The monster's eyes glowed a fierce yellow as a booming voice echoed from the broadcast system. Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. The black speakers amplified the resonant voice. The true villain of our era. Kim Ji-yeon gripped the microphone, a wicked grin spreading across his face. The public enemy of South Korea, Ego's tick. His voice thundered across the area. You dare lay a finger on my territory, you overgrown gecko. Standing below, the monster bristled with rage, ready to strike. What did you say? Online forums immediately exploded with chatter. Ego stick. Eggostic. Egomaniac. Ego's what? One user commented. Oh my god, is that Ego's tick? Another chimed in. He literally just called himself the public enemy. Someone else wrote. Wait, wasn't he a hero before? Man, I don't get it at all. The chat was buzzing with excitement. LMAO, this opening is cracking me up. Why does he look like a rock star? Kim Ji-yeon's terrifying gaze locked onto the monster below as he whispered coldly, Now, you die right here. 3 years ago, inside the headquarters of a massive corporation, a voice echoed through the association's lecture hall. The device you see before you is an absolute necessity for any hero. A middle-aged man stood before a crowd of neatly seated recruits. He pointed to the state-of-the-art machine beside him. This is the perception reduction filter, commonly referred to as just the filtered. He continued his explanation. When you step into this device and come out, the filter is applied to your face for a set duration. Only those with an active filter will cause cognitive dissonance, making it impossible for anyone looking at you to recognize your identity. He continued. However, if you reveal your face to someone who already knows what you look like, the filter will have no effect. Is that understood? The crowd below responded in unison. His expression then turned dead serious. Gripping the microphone tightly, he warned, even a fool knows how dangerous it is for a hero's true identity to be exposed. Forget your career. Your entire life will be ruined. Burn that into your memories. Sitting in the audience, Shin Haju listened intently and shouted her resolute agreement.